Evie! 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 Evie!
I'm right here. Come play with me, Daddy. Come play with me forever.
I wasn't gonna hurt you. I just wanted to film you.
Here's HawkSchlock. How's it going?
How's it going? How's it going? How do you think how's it going? I haven't made a HawkSchlock in years, and all of a sudden my daughter discovers my old YouTube account. And it's like, Daddy, let's make a HawkSchlock. Let's make a HawkSchlock. And I'm like, I gotta write a HawkSchlock, so how do you think how's it going?
Daddy, we could just make it up as we go.
Make it up as we go? Why didn't I think of that? Well, here on HawkSchlock, we don't always talk about films that are so highly regarded in the history of movies. Sometimes we cover movies that we feel are underrated. The Shining is not underrated. It was made by a guy named Stanley Kubrick, one of the most celebrated filmmakers of all time, who as far back as at least 1966 had a conversation with a friend where he expressed his desire to maybe make the scariest movie ever made. He was offered some horror movies. He was offered The Exorcist. But somebody from Warner Brothers sent him the galleys for the book The Shining. Somehow that ended up being his next project. He completely ignored the screenplay Stephen King, the book's author, had written. Probably one of the many reasons Stephen King is not a huge fan of this movie. Anyhow, now Evie, after years and years of you wanting to see this movie, we had these dolls, in a bathroom that is Shining themed. Our adult bathroom in the back is Shining themed. So for years you've been begging to see this movie. You finally watched it, which means I need to ask you some questions. So tell me about where did your interest in seeing The Shining start?
Well, I was playing with the toys, and they made me laugh, and I was wondering, hey, what is this? And and then you told me it's a movie that you haven't seen yet, and I'm like, well, I want to watch it when I'm 10 because I don't think I'm old enough, but I'm breaking my own rules because I'm 7 years old right now.
Almost eight. Yeah, you had told me for a long time you wanted to be, you changed it. You were like, I want to be 12 when I watch The Shining, 11, 10, 10 and a half. You were in that, you're always saying in that age group. Now, I'll tell you, I first saw The Shining, I was 11, and it was winter time, and we had traveled out of town, out of state, because my mom, G-Ma, was very sick. It looked like it was going to be her last Christmas, so we went to see some family. And I was always the youngest one, Evie. All my cousins were, I think the next cousin up with that group was maybe 5 years older than me. So that's kind of a big deal then, to be 11 and the next person was like 15 and then it just kept getting older. It was coming on TV and it was wintertime. It just made sense. They wanted to watch The Shining. I got approval from my high sheriffs, G-Ma and Papa, to watch. And The Shining came on. I was very excited. I was already a big movie fan back then, movie dork. And a little bit into the movie, the TV just shut off. Just shut off. I immediately looked at G-Ma. I was mad. I was like, why would you do that? Because it was also kind of embarrassing. Turned out it wasn't G-Ma, it was my uncle, who was like, I've decided I don't think you're old enough for this yet. And so Papa took me to the side and was like, we'll take care of this later. And so what he did is we got back to Arizona, and not only did he get me The Shining, he got me a whole Stanley Kubrick box set. He was like, listen, if you're getting into this, you got to get into this whole guy's stuff, He's one you need to know. And that's not the only time my dad did that. There was one time I was getting to Brian De Palma. I wanted to see his version of Scarface, and that same uncle told my dad, he was like, I just got to tell you, I don't know if Aaron should watch that movie. There's a lot of language in it. My dad looked at the copy of Scarface and looked back at him and said, no sh**. That was Papa's reaction, and he bought me the movie. So Papa always had Daddy's back with that kind of stuff. So when I watched The Shining, it blew me away. It took me on a journey. you know. I had expectations about what I thought the movie was going to be about. Did you have expectations?
I was wondering if it would be scary or not scary, because I saw him with an axe, and I'm like, it might be scary.
Yeah.
My, like, little self.
Your little self, yeah. And I mean, and it's a horror movie, so you know that it's a horror movie, so you know that could be scary. Did you?
Not too much blood, but there's, like, enough blood.
I mean, just look at that shot of the elevator, all the blood pouring out, you know, even though it's all effects.
That's crazy how you think of that.
Yeah. Now, the music right away creeped you out.
Yeah, I'm like, why do they have to have the music?
Yeah.
But suddenly, after I watched it, I'm like, I want to listen to the soundtrack.
We were driving, and you wanted the soundtrack. It's a creepy soundtrack. It puts you in a weird space.
Especially those, like, flashy clips actually scare me instead of, like, really scary parts that usually other people get scared of, but I only get of, like, quick flashes.
A lot of jump scares in the movie are there. The flashes, just quick, you know, the music will hit very sharply out of nowhere, you know, that sort of thing. Yeah. You know, so the movie begins, you know, Jack goes to the hotel, interviews, you know, for a job. And you were asking me about that. I was explaining how, you know, like, this hotel in the story just goes through some really severe winters, and so they can't really have anybody come stay there, but they need somebody to keep certain things going and taken care of. And so with it just being the three of them, at least we only think it's the three of them, you know, this whole thing happens where, you know, one of them might lose their mind a little bit or get possessed, or, you know, we've talked about this. Tell me how you felt about Jack, because you had an interesting take as far as your feeling about what he goes through. You got sad.
I got sad because he's actually a real person.
Yeah.
And he got possessed, but I felt bad for him because he was, like, in the snow and lost.
Yeah, and you were saying to me that you were like, well, he's just, you know, he's just a dad who lost his way, is how you told me at one point. Explain that.
At first, I thought he was a ghost all along because he was in front of the picture, or when people die, the ghosts actually put the new ghosts in the pictures with them.
You told me the hotel swallows them up.
Yeah.
Now, you brought up the scene in the bathroom where he's talking to the other gentleman who talks about having killed his family. And he says, you've always been the caretaker here. You talked about how your idea was the caretaker possessed Jack. That was your idea of what happened.
Yeah, but I'm like, wait a minute. Was he the ghost all along? I was thinking that, but I'm like, wait. He's a guy in the beginning, and people see him. So how do they see him?
Mm-hmm.
When, you know?
It's interesting for a lot of the movie, Jack's the only one that really seems to be seeing things. You know, he goes into the one hotel room and sees things. And now Danny is too, but it really is that moment near the end where Jack is he's trapped in the kitchen, and the ghost lets him out. That lets us know this thing is really happening. This is a real haunted hotel.
The ghosts let him out? Yeah.
You had seen a bit of The Shining and Twister before.
Yeah, they watch it. And I'm like, what is that? Like, you're like, oh, it's just a movie that you haven't watched that you haven't watched yet.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what is that movie? I don't know what it is.
And you wanted to watch it.
And I did.
Now, can I tell you something? A lot of people don't find any empathy for Jack. You know, like you did. A lot of people felt he was bad all along. But you felt sad for what happened to Jack. You felt he was a human, a flawed human who bad things happened to. You know, ghosts manipulated or possessed, however it was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I think the ghost, like, possessed a specific person. Like someone that just moved in. they're like, what about this family? What about one of them? Like, I'm like, who? And they take Jack, and it's a surprise.
Yeah.
And I actually got a Lego figure of him.
Yeah.
Because I was so excited. I'm like, hey, look at this! I found Jack Torrance.
You got very excited. We got that at Horrormonger Collectibles, Daddy's Friends. Horrormonger's a great shop for anybody in the Phoenix or Valley area. You were interested because I told you about how the book ends. The book is different, of course.
Yeah.
And in the book, Jack...
He sacrificed himself.
Yeah. He his last bit of goodness inside him basically saves his family. He basically... Because part of the job that he was doing was in the boiler room and keeping it from overheating and bad things happening. And so at the end of the book, and this is also how the 90s miniseries is, there's a different version made in the 90s. Maybe we can watch it sometime. Jack goes and sacrifices himself. He gets his family out of there. He blows up the hotel and ends the Overlook as far as haunted place.
Yeah. I'm just saying, I didn't really understand how the girls really got dead because guy, he didn't really tell much, and I'm like, I don't understand this.
I mean, a lot of people call the Grady sisters twins, but they're actually just sisters. One's a little bit older.
Yeah, one is older. I can tell because on the tag, one on that toy, one is taller and one is shorter, and one face is different and one face is also different.
Because it mentions in the couple times they mentioned that other guy, the caretaker, chopped him up, killed him. And so they're kind of like Jack at the end. They've been swallowed up by the hotel. You were kind of excited though when you first saw them because you've seen the doll for so long and everything.
And I want to see the movie about Danny when he grows up because I never seen that, and I'm wondering how Danny looks as a grown-up because I'm like...
So that's a good movie. That's called Dr. Sleep. It's really good. Stephen King also wrote a book called Dr. Sleep. But the filmmaker who made Dr. Sleep, Mike Flanagan, he took the story of Dr. Sleep, the book, and he also took Kubrick's version of The Shining, and he melded the two together to make his version of Dr. Sleep, and it actually made Stephen King like the movie The Shining better. Isn't that interesting? Because the way that filmmaker was able to meld two sensibilities, two kind of creative visions together for his version of Dr. Sleep. It's a really good movie. I don't know if you're ready for it yet, but maybe soon. I've also met Danny in real life, who played the kid when he's older. And I asked him, what's it like, watching that movie now? Because it's got to be kind of interesting. He was so little, it's almost like watching home movies in a way. Because it's stuff you kind of remember and kind of don't because of the way our memories are. He's a nice guy, though. Tell me about when Halloran. What do you think of Halloran?
Oh, yeah. I was very sad when he died because he's a very nice guy.
Yeah.
And he really helps Danny get through the hallway.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, don't go in that room.
Yeah.
If you feel like it, just avoid it.
You said something, do you remember what you said when he took an axe to the chest? You were sad, but do you remember what you said? You said he was just an innocent.
Yes. Why did they kill him if he was innocent?
Yeah. Jack was just doing everything he could to finish the job, kill his family, get lost in that hotel forever. This whole movie, Jack, you see him working, and you see him working and writing and talking about writing. And then what did you think when you realized what he's been writing the entire time?
I'm like, what? Because I didn't even see the letters what he was writing. And because I didn't know what dull means, I'm like, what does that mean anyways?
Well, dull means bored. like restless. And you can, if you become that, then you can become, what did you just say? Crazy. He too much boredom and dullness. He just lost it. What was the scariest part of the movie for you, besides the music?
I think the scariest part was actually like the elevators. When the mom actually saw the elevators, she was like, "What's happening?" I'm like, "Whoa, how did that happen?" And I'm like, how did the blood get there, and whose blood is it?
It's a haunted house, man. Let's also talk about the entire movie. You were asking, what's Red Room? What's Red Room? Let's talk about that reveal.
Murder.
Yeah. That was wild.
I'm like...
Yeah, that was pretty accurate to your reaction to that part of the movie. You were like... That was great. You were creeped out by the music. One thing I gotta say about this movie, and I don't know if you noticed it or if maybe you'll notice it as you rewatch it, the sound in general is really interesting. Like when Danny is going through those hallways, and it would have a sound of it, on the carpet, kind of soft, and then like hard on the wood, and then soft on the carpet, hard on the wood. It was just, it adds an unease to it.
Yeah.
Things like that.
I've actually noticed that.
Yeah. And all those shots they used a wide lens. It's an 18mm lens they use. And so what that allowed is a really wide shot without having it get too distorted or too like fish bowl-y looking, because a really wide angle can do that. And so you have this huge shot of these hallways, these just long hallways, turning down another hallway, and then that sound, all that mixed together, really creepy stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
I think to actually watch what's happening and understand, instead of not listening to it and like being scared if something's gonna happen, just do what you gotta do.
Yeah. It's all effects anyways, right? It's just a good story. Alright, how many stars you give it?
10 out of 10.
10 out of 10. 5 stars, 10 out of 10. Thumbs up, all that goodness. Yeah. The Shining gets I have a different scale, Evie. I have the Winona Ryder's face as a walking emoji generator scale of schlock cinema. And so on that scale, I give The Shining 5 Winonas. Just absolutely full of stuff I love. So it was a really special moment for Daddy to finally get to watch that movie with you. It was the right time. It was winter time. You were old enough and aware enough of the behind the scenes of how movies are made to understand it. It's been really fun talking about it with you, not just right now, but in the time since you've watched it. So this was special for Daddy.
And right when I watched it, I'm like, ooh, I got an idea. I can make a game at school.
Yeah, right. Yeah. So tell everyone, what was the recess game you started playing with your friends after watching this movie?
The Shining.
How do you play The Shining at recess?
So, there can be 10 or more people playing.
Okay.
And they're survivors. And, 2 twins and Jack.
Yeah.
Whenever, you do this to a survivor, that means the survivor has to go back in the car, which is under, the space with the slide, under the slide.
Mm-hmm.
And then you can come back out, and if the twin girls point at you, then you have to respond to the car, and then keep doing that over and over, and if there's one survivor left, then they can choose the character they want.
Okay. Now you came up with this variation to how to play it all on your own, just based on watching the movie. Do any of your friends know that it's from a movie, or is it just like they just hear you tell the story?
Probably they think it's a movie. Probably they're like, is this a movie or is it a game?
I mean, it's both, right? I love it. I love that you're playing The Shining at school. I can't wait for me to get some calls from parents yelling at me, you know. But it doesn't matter. The Shining rules. Yes? Do you know what I asked? I asked if you wanted to get some ice cream.
HawkSchlock,